Dial in Laura Ingraham. She joins us once a week, and today's the day. Good morning to you, Laura.
Hey, guys. Great to see you.
Are you tingling? Hillary Clinton's book is out.
I am. You know, Ryan, you have a great memory. So back in 2000, I wrote a book before Hillary ran for Senate called The Hillary Trap.
That's right.
Kind of anticipating what was going to be happening here with her political life. So I'm fascinated by all of this.
Well, fast forward to today. She was on with Diane Sawyer last night. With this book, she got a $14 million advance. In the book, she talks about how she really regrets voting for the Iraq War, although she did. She stands by the decisions in Benghazi. She traveled 1 million miles as Secretary of State. And yet, can she name one achievement as Secretary of State? Here's Diane Sawyer and Hillary Clinton.
When people say, where is the marquee achievement? No sweeping agreements, no signature doctrine.
We haven't had a doctrine since containment worked with the Soviet Union, but we've had presidents who've made some tough calls, some hard choices, some of which have worked and some of which have not.
Okay, she can't name anything, not even that silly reset button thing.
Well, first of all, the fact that she has now conceded that the containment strategy toward the Soviet Union was a success, I think I'm just gonna keep that with me all day long, because that's actually something for a liberal to admit that. So peace through strength actually worked, number one. Number two, in interview after interview, she knows she's going to be asked this question, right? She knows she's going to be asked the question, yet she cannot answer the question. So just on that, that information alone, how do people think that Hillary Clinton is really capable of being president of the United States, or the right choice of all the Democrats that are out there? She's the right choice with an inability to answer the one question she knows she's going to be asked.
Well, why doesn't
that is unbelievable.
Why doesn't she pick one thing and then hang her hat on it?
I mean, just say that, you know, they did their best with the Arab Spring and we're still seeing it evolve, or say, look, we're still pushing for more rights for women across the globe, or anything, but to say the president made tough calls. That was her answer. The president made some tough calls.
Sure. Well, with accepting any sort of part in anything or decision-making comes responsibility, right, and accountability. So if you're not doing one, you can't do the other. So is this an escape?
And exactly. And I don't know if we're going to play the Benghazi clip, but when she said, yes, she ultimately, the responsibility for Benghazi rests with her, then there was the big but. And she said, but the ultimate responsibility for decision-making about security did not seep down to my level. I'm not going to be flipping through 270 pages of...
I hired people to do that.
Yeah, a building. But you know what it reminded me, guys, of? I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. I did not have decision-making responsibility for that compound. I mean, come on. It's just, again, I take responsibility, but... it's predictable, yet it's a little stunning for someone, I think, as talented as Hillary is, to come up, with zero in this interview that you can say, wow, okay, I see her strength. I get it.
Yeah, she does talk about the mistakes she had in 08 and how she would be separate from the current president on many different issues. She lost some debates, so she does have some wiggle room when it comes to getting away from the president, who currently is not very popular. But let's talk about the president for a second and talk about the catastrophe that is looming on immigration right now, people flooding across the border. But when it comes to coming with immigration reform, there's a sense on Capitol Hill Republicans are standing in the way. What do you think?
What is going on is an attempt to extort members of Congress into agreeing to a, quote, comprehensive immigration amnesty, which is what it is. So the Obama administration has basically put out the welcome mat at the border. Come on in, we'll feed you, we'll house you, we'll clothe you, we'll get you medical care, although now it looks like we're not screening people properly. We have an increase in scabies, the MRSA virus. People are concerned about TB. So all of this is happening, right? And the response from people like Eric Cantor, big primary challenge today, go Dave Bratt, Eric Cantor, John Boehner, Paul Ryan, nothing personal, I like them all as people, but their response is, oh my God, we got to do immigration reform, and we got to get it done now. What does that say to all the people in Honduras today? Get here as fast as you can, because the Republicans are in cahoots with the president, who allows this border to be a piece of Swiss cheese day in and day out. I'm glad Fox is covering this. A lot of news outlets aren't. This is an ongoing invasion into our country, and it is horrifying for our sovereignty and our rule of law.
You mentioned Eric Cantor. Here's exactly what he said. He said said, quote, I have told the president there are some things that we can work on together.
Oh,
we
great.
can work on the border security bill together. We can work on things like the kids.
The kids.
And I was,
the kids.
I was looking at LauraIngraham.com, and I saw that we're talking about how if the House Republicans and the House in general comes up with an immigration bill, sends it over to Harry Reid, they're not going to touch it.
No, and in fact, what happens with any House vehicle is that the Senate bill will ultimately swamp that House vehicle for immigration reform. So anyone hearing this right now, understand this. If Boehner, Cantor, Ryan go forward with the immigration bill, that Senate amnesty bill will ultimately swamp it in large part. So that Senate bill will ultimately become the law of the land.
Well,
so everything you're
way,
hearing now is smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors.
I want to get in there, too, to let everyone know, you know, you can come off sometimes in talking about this as being cold-hearted as it relates to kids coming into this country. We saw pictures. We see these children who are going to be here without a place to go. Do they go back? Do they stay here? You've got a heart for adoption. We know that. And we've got a situation in front of us, Laura, that is going to need some real solution.
It's heartbreaking for those families, no doubt. But I see the statistics of 1 in 5 Americans today living in poverty. Millions of American families who send their own children to bed every night hungry. Black, brown, Asian, white, the working poor. Those people are the most affected by this. So, of course, no one wants to see a humanitarian crisis. But what people have to understand, this is created by the Obama administration and the GOP establishment that is essentially saying, as long as you get here, we'll allow you to stay here. That is not a country any longer, my friends. And compassion, we have to have compassion philanthropically for these people. But first, we still have to have a country. If we don't have a country, we're not going to be good to any of those people, no matter where they are.
And when we started the show, the first story on Drudge was Paul Ryan saying amnesty's back on the table.
I mean,
so, Laura, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
We got you all revved up.
Guys.
Now go do your radio show.
Thanks,
Go
Laura.
Dave Bratt. Love you guys. Thanks.
All right.